Greetings everyone, this is Lodrik and this is a game War in the Pacific, and today we'll check the rerun or redone turn, the turn of the 10th December 1941. Jochen had a misclick or wrong command or misunderstanding command of his carrier task force, and we saw this in the original turn for 10th December that there was a big carrier strike each other, and at the end looks like the Lexington was destroyed. I thought it was only damaged, but maybe it was completely destroyed, and so he asked me if we can redone this turn. But the only really difference is, for my setup, is no change at all, and his setup only changed that he was allowed to plot the course of this one task force again. So this is the only change of the whole turn. So I will maybe skip a little more than before, because most of the activity is very similar, not 100% the same, but very similar. So let's dive in and see what happened. So this is maybe, I don't know if it's the same ship, but Japanese submarine attacking Allied tanker. This I think I remember. And this tanker are all full, so they're full loaded, and then the fuel, the cargo is burning. This always is normally impossible to stop more. So these ships are normally going down all. So AVP also torpedo hit, and maybe then dead, or at least heavily damaged. Everything what is heavily damaged have normally not much chance to escape, because the only shipyard in this area is only Singapore and Surabaya. So if these heavily damaged ships cannot reach one of these two ports and gets emergency repair, I think they are also lost. Okay, this time a Japanese sub failed, but no counter strike, so everything is fine. And Jochen, his submarine hunter group, cannot find my submarine, so I would say so far everything is okay. Deep water, so I don't really have much hope, and yeah, so nothing. Here's a Japanese troop transport ship. We have hit but no explosion, so Mark 14. Luckily, but unluckily this is now deep water. I mean, maybe Jochen of course chooses hex that he stay here, so also hard for me to attack. Now we have a Japanese submarine get rid of the next Allied tanker full with fuel burning cargo, so, and even using deck gun. But somehow this tanker make one hit on my submarine. But heavily damaged, heavy fire, so for sure. And there's something sinking. So far very similar to the original turn. not the same ships maybe attacked, but the numbers are equally. Yeah, the bombardment needs a little longer. But maybe this time I have more damage airplanes. But overall, not a really big impact. Also, the bombardment is have no really support. Yeah. So we have here a mine tender with smoke. This is this gray smoke, so this is a ship have system damage. I don't know if it's system damage only or it's out of fuel. No, if it's out of fuel it will normally... No, it's on fire. So, and there's a tanker. Oh, so a tanker on fire and mine tender. But my torpedo attack failed, pitifully. But we get... my submarine can get a torpedo in an enemy destroyer minesweeper. This is normally enough, especially so far away from port. Yeah, sinking sounds with this, and we have a mine hit. So I think this is similar to the last turn. Something hit a mine. Oh, here's my cargo ship. Hit, but no explosion. But last time I think we had no explosion. This time we have at least one explosion of a Mark 14. My good cargo ship. Torpedo miss. Pitifully. So this has this British destroyers left over from task what Z or Z, and here's the next cargo ship. Hit and no explosion. And second attempt have one hit and explosion. Hit and no explosion. Hit and no explosion. Hit and no explosion. How many torpedoes have this submarine? Really. So I think the submarine maybe send all possible torpedoes out and now even use a shitty deck gun. So this is only possible because there is no I think, escort ship in this task force. So I don't know, I think the really all torpedoes of this submarine are just consumed for one cargo ship. So maybe this is okay if the submarine is now out of torpedoes. Maybe must, I don't know if it can go back to Manila. This is dangerous. So, and any other port is far away. So maybe Singapore, but Singapore is also dangerous now. So my cargo ship is, of course, 2 torpedoes is for cargo ship simply, I would say, to 99% too much. Yeah. Okay, so I think I will maybe skip this now. My zeros with Betty's coming together, and we have here mostly P-35. I don't know if the zeros can defeat all of these interceptors. So far it looks okay. But at the end, some of these American interceptors getting through and attacking my Bettys. My Bettys simply, they really are not good in this kind of, and they simply really burning so easy and always get killed. But maybe this bomb strike on the airport will be the beginning of the end of any air activity in the northern Philippine area. So I have here the Bettys, many Bettys getting damaged. What I would normally more care, the Bettys are normally not so important for me. The 3 zeros are, I would say, at the end, maybe even more critical to lose. Because these are all good pilots. But of course it will reduce the striking power from Jochen here in the Philippines for the future. I pay him price, but it's a I don't know if I really like this. This equally lost of airplanes is normally not in favor of the Japanese. 1-to-1 kill ratio is always in favor for the Allies in the long run. Some bombardment. Very similar to last tournament. Similar to every tournament. China bombardment not really changed much. So far, no surprise. one nade is of course not enough to really make here any difference. With 2 light machine guns, at least can damage some of the British forces. And this attack on my carrier fleet is completely broken and forced back. But of course, this Dutch Air Force, the airplanes are outdated and the pilots have, I think, maybe the worst training out of all. Dutch pilots have really only the basics and nothing more. This looks better. Turtles are of course with heavy machine guns much more powerful to intercept unescorted bomber formation. So now my Zero is trying to stop this B-70s. Hard to say if this is now possible. Maybe. At least the attack is broken and forced to return without really finish the strike mission. And at least one B-17s is destroyed. Maybe enough others damaged. Okay, second strike. But my Zeros are not in position. This is again, this is a time without radar. The Japanese don't have radar up to now. So it's really hard to intercept attack strikes. If the Hex is not have her own airport, then it's much easier. But yeah. So now my dive bombers trying to intercept some cargo. And yeah, we attack all the cargo stuff and damage or even kill it, or at least bring it very close to heavy fires and damage. Only the destroyer escape. Pittily. Yeah, but maybe it's better to kill the cargo ships, not the destroyers. My cargo ship. Here are some Catalinas trying to attack my support carrier fleet. Luckily I have some cloud fighters. I mean, these A6 fighters, clouds are really also similar to a T-17, very similar airplanes. 2 light machine guns as not really enough to destroy something, but at least normally they can damage and force the airplane to return to base. And in this case it's working. No kill, but damage airplanes return to base, and maybe one of the 3 are crash landing or something like this. And again, B-17 strike on my port. And one of my 1-point AMCs get a hit and is destroyed. And one tanker and one other cargo ship is heavily damaged. And heavy fires. Heavy fires is maybe a little hard. But they are all low point ships. Everything what from value is out of port. Everything what is left in port is very cheap stuff. So second attack. Finish off this cargo fleet maybe. Yeah, unluckily no hit on this light cruiser. Of course I would have this destroyer is also fine. Light cruiser of course would be better, but so only one bomb hit. This is of course not the best ratio. Out of 13 dive bombers, only one bomb hit is not the best. So my torpedo bombers going for some. Okay, so one bomb hit on a destroyer. This is nice, and one AP. So maybe both of the ships are getting down. And this is so far really something new. This time my torpedo bomber can detect the light cruiser Boeing, and I get the torpedo with explosion. But unluckily only one torpedo hit. A second torpedo hit would normally maybe really cripple the Boise. In this case I think we have only lower maybe the top speed from, I don't know, from 32, 33 to down to 21. Out of experience I would say a light cruiser can normally handle 2 torpedoes are possible to handle, but the third torpedo will normally kill this cruiser. But at least one will already reduce the range of this ship and speed, so it's more likely that in the next turn I can start my second attack and then finish off this cruiser. But we will see. So my tanker go down. And luckily I get one torpedo in the Jupiter. So one more British destroyer is now heavily damaged or even destroyed. And this is a piece. This patrol craft I think are very, these are similar to Japanese small destroyers. I think they also have 1,000 ton. So this is more or less, these PCs are more or less also destroyers, but maybe a little older, not so expensive, not so fast, less firepower. So something just sunk again, so maybe the Jupiter, who knows. And here we try to sink this submarine, but of course fail again. But the Allies' anti-submarine activity is also not much better. So the submarines are very successful this turn on both sides, American and Japanese side. The Sub Hunter, better don't talk about it. So I catch this Japanese co-op trying to escape, and 99 to 1 is of course clear victory for the Japanese. Only one squad is destroyed from the Japanese, the rest is disabled, and from the Chinese it's getting... This is more or less what I had many times with Dojo. The Chinese, they need the numbers. Single operation and Chinese units simply have no chance against Japanese might. So the Chinese, they have the numbers, but you must bring them together and organize them. I think this is the big challenge for an ally player in China at the beginning. So, and here I try to hold my ground, and I barely get a 1-to-1, and one of my units, but this is only part of the unit, not a real unit, gets destroyed. So it's it looks not good, I would say, but this was similar to last time. This is the bombardment of my forces here in Kabul. So I can say that I have here 50, 60, roughly 70. My defending power is 110, and Jochen have 57. So I have roughly double the attack value than the defender. If this is enough to take the base, I will maybe must think about this. Maybe I bring some additional reinforcements first. So, turn is over, and I don't must talk so much because I think the situation is exactly the same, more or less, like last time, because I don't change any of my task forces the orders, so I can only show what is now different. So we have now air losses 18-9, so kill ratio 2-1 in the air. I also destroyed some on the field, mainly I think Clark Field, and the operational losses are equally. So, oops, okay. So biggest loss for me are the 8 Bettys, but I would care more my zeros. That I lost 4 air-to-air zeros is really high losses compared to what Jochen lost, because I don't see really any first-class fighter Jochen lost. Here's one P-40E. This is maybe equally... And here's one P-40B. No, 2 of them. Okay. But this is the only frontline fighter, so they are maybe equally to a 0. This Falcon outdated, and this is Buffaloes. They are maybe all second class. So maybe I can kill more. I mean, we have here 27-13, so kill ratio is 2-1, but simply the pilots and the value of the airplane, I would say, is... if I put this in this calculation, it's more a 1-to-1 outcome. So it's just so, I would say. Nothing I would say I'm happy about, but yeah. And ship sunk last turn for the Japanese, so I lost 2 good cargo ships, and both to Mark 14. Last turn I think I lost no one, because all the Mark 14 not exploded. In this case I lost 2 good cargo ships. So 18 speed is a really good cargo ships, that I really don't like to lose. This is only 15, but this have much more capacity. But yeah, it's happened. So this is really Yeah. I mean, the tanker on this AAMC, I don't care because this is shitty stuff. It doesn't matter. But only cargo ships. So, cargo ships, yeah, at least in up to end of 42, maybe in 43, the Japanese starting running out of cargo or tankers if the Allies know what they are doing. But so long I can keep my military equipment alive, I would still say cargo ships are really not so important for me. At least not now. So the Allies, they lost this turn, I mean, by fog of war, and we can both agree that Boise is not dead. Boise is damaged. But, and the rest is also nothing special. So 25, because at Boise I still don't care here, but 25 for the Allies and 25 for me and a little more. So this 1-to-1 kill ratio for ship is for sure always in favor for the Allies. So not really the best outcome. I mean, to kill the Lexington last time was of course a super success. But this was really purely miscommand, misclick, whatever. So this is much more realistic outcome. Still, on the overall strategic situation, it have no real big impact. My submarines more or less blocking the path from Singapore to Palm Bank. This line is more or less very risky, let's say this. My submarines also blocking the way to Batavia. So there are still many Allied task forces, but I can intercept many of them. Even if I cannot kill them all, I can damage them all. And if they cannot repair in Batavia, then there's only open sea waiting for them. And then it's if they try to return to Cape Town or reach Perth from here, unlikely, or they need long time and maybe the journey will 1 month or something like this. I don't know. So normally these ships must try to enter Surabaya, get a fix here, and then maybe return to Perth. And then from Perth they can maybe go to Canberra or Sydney to a shipyard and get completely overall. Anyway, here is now the Boise. I mean, official, it's not a Boise, but I know here's Boise because we had this airstrike here. And here's also something. Maybe only light cargo ships, maybe something else. Who knows? So, this is, I think, everything more. This is normally the same because nothing else changed. Only the outcome of the battles changed. And it was maybe really. I mean, if I ignore the Lexington stuff, I would say it's maybe more or less the same. I really don't know if it's better or worse. I would say it is the same. At some point I was more successful in other battles, I maybe lost more. And the Bettys I don't really care so much. My pilots, so I can maybe check how many dead pilots I have. So I have 7 killed and 3 missing. So 10 pilots lost. And 10 pilots out of out of 13 airframes is of course high ratio. Really not good. But this is of course, I mean, air-to-air loss over enemy hex. This has this 5 pilots plus my 4. Zeros are 9 already. And 1 flag losses. So these are my 10 pilots. Easy to see. Good. Keep it short. I will, I think, also do the next turn and then I catch up with the situation so far. Thank you all. See you. Bye bye.